Hey guys, so welcome to Gamertime. So yesterday I had to make a decision. So yesterday I thought, I'd come down here at night, spend hours down here, watch videos, knock out the YouTube gaming community on my other channel, get that done. And then my wife goes, oh, by the way, tonight we need to spend some time and figure out how we're going to rewire the basement, where we're going to put the lights at, where we're going to put the outlets at, where we're going to put the light switches at. And then I had to make a decision. Either I just tell her I want to go work on the video and make her mad the day before Valentine's Day, or work on that and make her happy. Which of course I worked on that to make her happy, because let's be honest, if you guys don't know the old adage, if she's not happy, you're not happy. And if she's not happy, she will find a way to make you not happy. And so we worked on that for a couple hours to get it all, drawn out the way we both agreed to it. There were of course, some heated arguments doing it, but eventually we got it all worked out and it was done. And then I made the other mistake. She said, oh, don't need to buy anything before Valentine's Day. Rule number one, when a girl tells you don't buy something, buy her something. Because she's actually telling you she wants you to buy something, but she wants you to do it on your own, kind of thing. That's how women work. Well, the reason why I didn't buy anything, because actually on Thursday we're going out to a comedy dinner place that, they have a comedy play, but they also serve dinner and stuff. And so that's why we originally said we're just going to get cards or something. We talked about it, because we're going to go do that. It's not like we're not going to do anything together for Valentine's Day. We're just doing it on Thursday. My son wants to spend a night at a friend's house. He's never done that before. We're going to let him. We'll see how that goes, because he's never spent a night outside of our house and his grandparents' house before. And so, today, she goes, so you didn't get me any chocolate? You didn't give me anything? Well, you said not to get anything. No, I said not to get anything expensive. You could have got something cheap. Well, I didn't know. What do you want? You said you didn't want anything. No, I should have known better than that. What is wrong with you, Robert? You could have dug yourself into a hole. But luckily, she wasn't that upset about it. She was just giving me garbage about it. But it's one of those things when a woman tells you, no, don't give me anything, get her something. So, dealt with that today. So I've been getting into Transformers stuff, as I talked about before. It was kind of cool. Yesterday they announced that, Michael Bay announced on his website that he will be directing Transformers 4. He signed a 2-picture deal with Hasbro. One is to do this movie called, Gain and Pain, or Pain and Gain, which stars The Rock and Mike Wahlberg. And then the second movie will be Transformers 4, which he said will be out June 29th, 2014. Which makes me wonder if Shia LaBeouf is going to come back now he's directing, because I wonder if he left because Michael Bay wasn't going to direct him anymore. I had an assumption, I just had a feeling Michael Bay would come back. But I like the Transformers movies. I know some people don't. They're just supposed to be a fun movie to go see, not have any thought to it. They're just action, big special effects kind of movie. I'm really glad, because I really didn't want them to reboot it. I'm not going to go. I really am not a fan of rebooting. Okay, it hasn't been that long to go reboot from the beginning all over again. But it'll be interesting to see where they go, because they killed off so many characters in the last movie. The producer already said it's going to basically be a hybrid, where there's some old characters from the first 3 movies, that are left, and then new characters. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it. Maybe we'll finally get to see some things of Unicron in the next one. I'm excited about that. And so I started watching Transformers Prime Season 1, because Season 2 starts this Saturday. And I really just didn't care for it originally when I watched it when it first came on TV, because it seemed like a hodgepodge of the other series. Like, okay, well, that Bumblebee is just the movie Bumblebee. He's the exact same colors. He can't speak like him. He acts like him. Okay, that Optimus looks like Transformer movie Optimus. If you slapped him and Transformer Animated Prime together, there you go. And Bulkhead is the Bulkhead from Transformer Animated kind of thing. But it's actually a really good show if you get past all that stuff. But episode 8 kind of got me really hyped for the figures, because episode 8, Wheeljack makes an appearance. And he almost looks exactly like Generation 1 Wheeljack. His colors are exactly the same. You know, a lot of he looks a lot like the original G1. He doesn't transform in that episode or anything, except he has 2 swords. But unfortunately, to get there's a Wave 1 figure, but to get the Wave 1 figure, you have to get it soon because Hasbro's canceled the Wave 1 line. They've come out with Prime Robots in Disguise line, and the reason why they did this, I imagine, is because of retail. I imagine because I don't think Transformers Animated, when it came out between the movies, did very well. And I don't think retailers, I think, have the impression that if it isn't movie related, it's not going to sell very well. Because movie related Transformers sell really well. And so hopefully enough people buy it. I know I'm debating when I get my taxes, instead of buying a game, I might go buy some of the new Transformers. They look really cool. But they have a lot of Transformer lines out now too. You got Generations, which is they can go to any timeline with repaint any Transformers on any timeline, or they can actually make new Transformers for that timeline, because that's the whole point of Generations. It's just Generations. It's not. Generations is a line that's going to have the Fall of Cybertron figures, which they had the War for Cybertron figures, which are harder to find now, which I really wish I would have got when they came out. But so I want to talk about stock stuff now. So I've been digging deep into this stuff since, obviously, you know, it looks like we're going to get our taxes next week. And like, for example, Apple. When Apple hit $503 a share, they were valued at $467 billion. Now today they closed at $511. And they're getting really close to believed to be in the first $500 billion valued company on the stock exchange ever. And they still consider that company undervalued. Today, the news was Apple's working with somebody screen person overseas to make a smaller version of the iPad, so that sent the stock to go crazy, of course. And that the guy who runs Apple said he's not so like stuck on the cash like Steve Jobs was, and that they might do something, but didn't say what it was. But people are assuming again it's a dividend, but there's no proof of that, because Apple has over $100 billion in the bank. It's getting to the point where they have so much money that they don't need that much. They'll never use that much money. And the other point someone made is, why hasn't Apple split the stock? See, it used to be when a stock got a certain value, they split it, because being valued at $500, you kind of, a lot of the average man can't buy the stock, and you need average people in it to kind of help, you know, have a long sustained run. And the companies would split the stock so that more people could buy it, and then their value would be worth more because there's more shares out there. Like if Apple, I honestly think if Apple did a 1-for-2 split or a 1-for-4 split, that they would actually spur enough people to buy it to go up that they could be a $750 billion or maybe even the first $1 trillion company on the stock exchange. But one of the more interesting stock news for IPOs was the Empire State Building looks like they're going to do an IPO on the stock exchange, which I understand why they could do it, because first of all, it is a business. There's several floors. They're not a, I don't believe they're a place you live in. I believe it's an office building. And it is a iconic figure in our U.S. history. The Empire State Building. It's been in a lot of movies. Everybody knows what it is. That people would buy it based on its status, what it means. But on the other side, if it did go IP, you would know what kind of business it had in it, how much occupancy it had, and stuff like that. So the only other building I can think of that could do this would be the World Trade Center, because, well, they're still rebuilding it, but because it's 2 towers and how many floors it's going to be, and how iconic it is now because of, unfortunately, a tragedy, that they might pull it off. But it'd be interesting to see if they do go ahead with this IP and how it does. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, because it is a cool icon. So I understand someone buying a share of it just to have a share of that iconic status in their history. I've been looking at ETFs. Now, ETFs are, for those who don't know, say you don't want to buy let's say you look at the banking industry, but you don't want to buy just one stock of one bank. You don't know what to buy. Then what you do is buy an ETF, like, for example, an ETF in the financial sector. So it's a blanket thing. So it's invested in maybe 90 different banks. And you can look at the portfolio of it and see what banks it's invested in, how much percent of the portfolio is. And if you buy a share of it, like let's say I believe the one I looked at it was $122, okay, for this one for the financial. It had a dividend of 2%. That's a way of diversifying your portfolio and buying into a sector because you're not sure which one you want to buy. There are hundreds of different ETFs, or spiders as some people may know them as. There's one just for the 3 to 7 year U.S. government bonds. There could be some that are for a whole country, like there is like Fidelity, like emerging Asia one, or a an emerging India or whatever, and they invest in a bunch of companies over in those countries. It can allow you to invest in a country or a sector with blanket, so there's less risk maybe, or just to diversify. I have my account. I had it set up a long time ago where I can invest in overseas international stock exchanges, anyone I want to. The thing is, each country is different. What I mean by that is, okay, say you want to buy shares of a company in Japan. Nintendo's really expensive, but in order to buy shares over in Japan, first of all, you have to convert your money to yen, which is easy to do on these sites. They all do it. But in order to buy shares in the Japanese stock market, for foreign investors to invest, they have to buy 100 shares. Whereas some countries, you only have to buy 30 shares, other countries you have to buy 10. And so you have to know how many you have to buy in order to invest over there. That's just the rules each country has. Each one's different. So I was looking at some Japan stuff. I just looking at stuff. I really haven't dug deep, but just started looking a little bit. Watching CNBC Asia and stuff, where they talk about a bunch of different countries. And it's funny because their stock exchanges are different than ours, right? Like the Tokyo Stock Exchange has a bunch of different numbers. The Taiwan one has one of the stock is like 2049 TW. I mean, they all have their different way of doing the things for the companies, so you have to be aware of that stuff. So, because I always want to invest in other stock exchanges, and always Japan is cool to me. So I've been looking at how much it would be and everything. And over time, I've been slowly converting a little bit of money over to yen, so that eventually I would invest over there. I think it'd be kind of cool to buy something over there. And that's pretty much all that I have to talk about today, guys. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.